Foreignfilmcast.com 29. Prince Avalanche.
Yes.
Comments to foreignfilmcast@gmail.com. Trey specific to
Trey700 at AOL.
and Paul.
Master Paul, ff@gmail.com.
Please subscribe. And verbal comments are welcome. Send us your audio, record it on your iPhone, your smartphone. Video commentary is also welcome. And we want to give a little shout out to a special friend of Trey's.
My Twitter guy, Mark McNichol, in Scotland. He's on his way to LA. Check out his novel, Coconut Badger. It's currently being shopped for a TV pilot and possibly a feature. So, shout out.
That's enough.
Shout out. Check him
And
out.
thanks to Filippo. I think he's probably our number one fan in Italy.
Cake Boss.
Hopefully he's going to give us, Cake Boss is going to give us, also check out Filippo is featured in one of our videos, the Bologna, Italy video, personally my favorite, but we're working on Cabo, so we'll see how that matches up.
Oh.
So Prince Avalanche, this is not a foreign film. Why are we talking about?
Yeah.
Why are we talking, Paul? Why are we talking about?
Well,
Prince
there's another movie called Either Way that we did a discussion on last time, and that's the remake. There's the original, and Prince Avalanche is the remake of.
So Either Way is the pre-make, and this is the remake.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Remixed, remastered. And we saw it today, and I wasn't expecting it, but we did get to see the director and Emil Hirsch discuss the movie afterwards. So, what was your take on the movie after seeing Either Way? How did you feel about Prince Avalanche?
I liked it. It was more introspective on a higher scale. Production-wise, it was a little bit better produced, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I didn't love it as much as I loved the original.
Oh, interesting.
I'm a purist. I really, really loved it. The magic was missing. Some of the magic was missing, like music, etc. But overall,
the vintageness,
Paul,
I think.
yeah, the
that's what it was.
vintageness, and overall, but I do give it a thumbs up, and I do recommend it.
It wasn't as authentically 80s, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, I think apart from that, I thought it was a lot better film, personally, Prince Avalanche. And I said that, what do you call it? Either Way had long shots where there was a lot of no speaking or music. This one was always with some kind of score in between the takes.
Even though the magical music, 80s vintage was missing.
The takes, and the 80s music was mostly not present. So, but I thought it made the movie flow better and made you, I thought in that sense it was much better. It led you to more introspection. The dialogue, a lot more dialogue, and it made you people more talking about their feelings. Not in the one in Iceland, it was very sparse. So, and a different kind of setting. I thought the setting. I wasn't that impressed with They were talking about the burnt woods location.
Oh.
In Texas. I didn't think that was as great as the other one.
So again, it's a movie. Two guys working on striping a road and putting up posts, they're like mile markers, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Road markers.
So my feeling on this is I agree with you. I think mostly of the two movies, if I had to watch one as entertainment, I would pick this movie. Let's take a moment. It's tighter. It's just got greater production values. So I'm not coming from a place of fandom. If I had loved the first one, then I think it would have been harder to match it as a remake. But since I didn't like the first one that much, as long as you up the production values, that would be already enough to make the movie better in my view. So the editing I feel is tighter. The dialogue is still generally pretty spare. They did add dialogue, but it wasn't a ton. And in the commentary afterward, they noted that it was a 60-something page script. And the point was it was not a long script. Mm-hmm. And Emil Hirsch said, I thought it was going to be like a 60-minute movie. So the slow vibe is maintained, but not quite as slow. The pauses aren't quite as long. Mm-hmm. I would guess that if you counted the shots in the movie. I think they're more just so it keeps things moving along.
The pacing's a little bit better.
Yeah, they did a couple things that were different. They embellished on a character. I think what this is I'll save this for spoilers, but but in general, I still wouldn't recommend this, except to somebody who specifically likes this independent vibe, spare movie with two actors who dominate the screen for 90% of the movie. It's a simplistic structure that might appeal to some, but I don't think it has a broad appeal. Would you recommend your friends go out and check this out if they're like Wolverine or
based on commercial value? No, it's not highly recommended. But yeah, if you're into indies, yeah, I think it's a good movie to watch. It does have a good message. It's better in this I think this film presents a better message than than either way.
How about The Hunt? The Hunt or this?
Oh, The Hunt's the best so far.
So I like The Hunt better too.
Well, I have to agree with you guys. It's not as commercial, but at the same time, it is indie. And if you're an indie fan, I would recommend this. This is, to me, I wouldn't miss this one if you're an indie fan. But if you want to see Wolverine, yeah.
Okay, any last minute comment? So we're going to move to spoilers,
Spoiler.
No, I think we should move on to spoilers.
Yes, I'm ready for spoilers.
So the biggest difference, in my opinion, is the amplification of the lady character. The only lady we saw in the original film. Here she speaks. In the other movie, she did not speak at all.
Yeah, and the way they did it was very beautiful. It was a little bit like it was a bit of a documentary. Explain the scene. Set it up.
So, according to my understanding, based on the Q&A after, they met a woman who had actually suffered in fires in Texas, where this American version was shot. And so I think they just had her kind of improv based on her experience, and she's kind of going through the fire, talking about things that were lost and how her identity is attached to these things, and that's why they matter to her. Did I kind of get it right? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and they asked her to play a small part in the movie, which, that's pretty interesting.
And she takes over in the final scene. It was just that one girl, that random girl in the original. Either way,
right? She
takes the place of that girl. She gets in the truck with the old man.
Right. It's the same. It's the same role. It's just she's got she's got very little structure in the first one, and here she has an actual character. And she does the same funny thing where the truck driver pretends that she's not getting in the car and blah, blah, blah. Right. It's funny. So another interesting thing that came up about that I didn't expect in the remake is they used subtitle terminology. So a lot of times when you have subtitles, the translations are imprecise. So in the first movie, when they discussed the younger character having sex, they would talk about having the little man squeezed, and they maintained the terminology here. It's so clearly a
boy movie,
a poorly translated term.
Right.
Nobody says that, but the director said he found it amusing, and so they did that. And another example he gave was those are very sharp materials, or
I ran over a sharp object.
Right. So he said normally you wouldn't say that's a sharp object. You would say a glass, shattered glass or something.
Right.
What else stood out to you guys as comparison?
Obviously, the rescue scene. Remember, in the original movie, either way, the guy is drowning, right? And in this remake, the guy just is running through the woods. He jumps off a 12-foot cliff and messes up his hip.
Okay, yeah. Then I noticed.
And then I asked that in the Q&A.
Yeah, and then the Dear John letter in the original.
Right.
You actually have verbalization of that letter, and here you have kind of sort of a replacement. Instead, they do show the letter, and if you're good at it, you could read the handwriting quickly and probably get a lot of the message. I didn't get a ton, but then they have kind of audio voiceover of a breakup phone call, where he before it was just discussed that he had gone to a phone booth and had a discussion, and here you actually hear the dialogue.
It's really cute. I love how that resonates. What did you think of that, Paul?
Oh, I like that part too. That part was good, but it was different from the original.
So Paul, one of these actors kind of stood out. I think we all kind of liked the old dude.
Mm-hmm.
I did miss the fact that in the original he chomped the Coke bottle.
With his teeth, yeah.
He pulls out the bottle tops with his teeth, and
Yeah.
here kind of feel like he wussed out and used his fingers. But
No, and those
But-
vintage bottles
With
of
his thumbs, he could
soda.
open 'em, I don't know.
and what kind of soda
Bubble
did they
Up.
use here?
Bubble
This is
Up.
Bubble Up.
Bubble Up.
Bubble Up 70s.
And the other one was
vintage. It was,
Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we lost that, but I think I think this actor's we find him superior to the.
Oh,
Yeah, he had that kind of big personality that it was interesting. He was fun to watch, and
was
This
old
guy,
crony.
this guy's got huge charisma.
Yeah.
What was his name? Do you have?
Lance Legault.
And what were a couple of?
Please
He looked up
remember.
a couple of his.
Well, he was. I mean, supposedly he sang with Elvis, and he was in many of his movies. But he was
Oh,
also
yeah.
well known in as a colonel in Magnum PI, and also in A-Team.
In the Wolf. was
And
it
actually, he
Wolf?
played many roles, many small roles.
Airwolf.
And Airwolf, and
Right.
Dynasty, of all things. He was in it.
Dynasty. Oh.
So he was in all sorts of TV shows.
Right, you did mention. I do remember now that he mentioned actually had solo albums.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
Something to
a
look
solo.
for.
Exactly.
And they also
Unfortunately, though.
and they dedicated this movie to him.
Right, because he died a few months after they filmed. So he didn't actually
Aw.
see the film, but his wife did at Sundance. So,
Yeah.
but he was a big part of an important part in the movie.
Yeah, and they were saying like, oh, he's doing us a favor by being in the film, but they actually, this movie was an homage to him in his career.
A little bit.
That was very touching.
So there were a couple other things. There was this one scene where they're showing Paul Rudd in the woods, and they have these blue marks on trees indicating they shouldn't be cut. And the director said he really liked the imagery, and he tried to figure out how this could fit into the movie. And he decided to put this graffiti that he'd seen on a wall somewhere. And it said, "I love you so much," or what did it
Right.
say?
I love you so much.
And so it's kind of random that they show these graphics of just pixels doing cursive.
And then it just made cursive,
And it
right.
was transposed into the back of the film.
And-
it just was beautiful.
It was kind of interesting. Some of these parts in the movie were kind of random. Like, there's a few parts in the movie that were like, you think, like the scene with the woman at the lady at the, talking about her, losing her things.
Oh, after
and
fire.
One thing that
fire.
did strike me is the director did note that he did not want actors known for their comedy, but I did feel like these guys did come at it as more caricatures, more in a more comedic fashion than in the original. I feel like they played it a little more straight in the original.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were more serious about it. Yeah.
I think a lot of that probably had to do
Either
with
way.
culture. In America, we have a little bit more brevity, and in Europe, maybe they're not as comical.
Yeah.
We can
Maybe
do
in that
America's.
It-
We're broad enough. We can do drama. We can do comedy.
It was very hokey and pokey, and it was. It's
But I agree. I think
yeah.
that Paul Rudd did play like a caricature of a.
But
An ass.
it was
Kinda
entertaining.
funny.
I think it was entertaining. But yeah, it did play as character.
Yeah.
You weren't taking it very seriously, I don't think.
No, I agree.
All right, I think so. Summary, encapsulate your
Well, I was
feelings.
thinking. Yeah. I mean, I think I said it already. Indie film. I think it's good enough. You like it. If that's kind of stuff you like. I thought that I didn't add, but some of the scenes I liked the way they shot it. They kind of like come on, what's to say? They focus on the colors and the contrast, which I thought was pretty good in that sense. But if you like that in indie film, I recommend it.
Yeah.
but-
So
But not
again.
for commercial.
Yeah. So I'd give this a very specific recommendation to those who appreciate a slow-paced, quiet indie flick. For the rest, there are just so many movies that I'd recommend before this. So
I did miss the wheelbarrow half naked scene. They kept their overalls on in this one, but the other one was really funny.
Trace shedding tears.
The drunken moment was.
The drunken moment was pretty,
was,
it,
Chase.
for me it lacked, but it was fun. And I did miss the 80s tunes that were like this Icelandic.
All right,
Not
yeah.
a
Check
kid.
out the Scandinavian '80s tunes. Email Trace.
It was good.
She's looking that stuff up.
I love them.
All right, guys. Foreign Filmcast signing off.
Signing off.